Hey guys, Dan Williams here at Range of Motion. Let's talk to those people who struggle to start something. In this case, those people who struggle to start exercise. Now, you guys know that exercise is good for you. You know that you should be doing it. So the education is not enough. It's not enough to know you should be doing something. So let's talk about starting. Let's talk about how to take that first step. Maybe guys, if you're watching this and you know someone who is hoping to take their first step into exercise, they're hoping to make that commitment, maybe this could be something you could share with them. So chuck their name below or share this video and maybe it can help them. So the big problem that people have to overcome is that starting is a big deal. Imagine you're trying to push a car. The first little bit to go from zero to something, that's the hard bit. That's the tricky bit. As soon as that car's moving, it keeps moving. And any sort of change in behavior, in this case, starting the habit to exercise, well, it's exactly the same thing. Once you overcome and start to create a little bit of inertia, it becomes easier to do. But of course, that's all well and good. But if we can't start the car moving, if we can't start that new habit, this doesn't really help us. But what if someone else came along and started to push the car with you? What if the car was already moving and then you just had to take over? Then it would be easy. And really changing your behavior, starting a new exercise program, it's exactly the same thing. And here's why it's the same thing. Because you're already doing something. Because exercise is a continuum, and any change in behaviors is a continuum. And basically you start at one point in that continuum and you move towards the ideal. Now, the ideal is 100%. It's perfect. It's exactly what you want to be doing. It's the gold standard of exercise. And sorry to break it to you, but you're probably not ever actually going to get there. You're never going to be perfect in your exercise. No one is. There's always somewhere you can go. There's always some improvement you can get. Now, that can be a big challenge for people, especially people who chase perfection over progress. But for you, you just need to focus on progress. We talked about this continuum. You're not on zero at that continuum. You've already begun. And you've already begun because maybe you walk to the car. So you're already doing some exercise. Maybe you eat veggies once a week already. So you're already doing something to look after your health. You're already doing something which is moving you along that continuum. Now, let me tell you about some research which explains why this is really, really important. Why it's really important for you to understand that you actually already do some exercise. You already do have some healthy habits. Maybe you already do sleep well. You're not smoking. Or you're smoking 3 a day instead of a pack a day. Let's talk about why it's so important to believe that you've already started. So this piece of research, they took 2 coffee shops, 2 cafes. And in the first cafe, they had those little loyalty cards, you know, the ones, and they've got, you punch the holes, and as soon as you get a certain amount of holes punched, you get a free coffee. So in coffee shop A, they had these loyalty cards. And on these loyalty cards, they had 8 different spaces where you could punch a hole. So every time you had 8 coffees, you got a free one. In coffee shop B, they also had loyalty cards, but this time instead of having 8 holes to be punched, they had 10 holes to be punched. So now you had to drink 10 before you got that free coffee. Now what you'd think is that the card with the 8 holes, they would finish it more quickly than the card with 10. And yes, normally they would, but here's what they did. The coffee shop that had the card with 10 holes, when they gave that card to you for the first time, they take the card, they sort of look around as if they were breaking the rules, they take out the hole punch and they punch 2 holes. So as far as you were concerned, you'd already begun the process. Now, of course, in coffee shop A and coffee shop B, you still had to have 8 coffees before you got that free coffee. But for the people in the coffee shop B who already had 2 holes punched, they were already on their way. They had already begun the journey. And of course, what happened is that the people who had 8 holes to go with a head start, they finished their card first in almost every case. They drank more coffee and they got their free coffee first because they were already on their way. They'd already begun the journey. So my question to you is this: how have you already begun your journey? How have you started this process already? What are you already doing, which is moving you up that continuum that's taken you from being on 0 on the continuum and taken you towards 100. We're never going to get there, remember, but towards 100. So have a look at your life and see what you're already doing. See when you're already exercising. Maybe you're out kicking the footy with the kids. Maybe, as I said, you're just walking to the car. Think about the habits in your life which are already positive, that are taking you towards where you want to be. And remember that study and focus on the fact that you've already begun. Because if you do that, you don't have to overcome 0. You don't have to overcome a lack of movement. You simply take the car that's already being moved and you just give it a little bit of a helping nudge in the right direction. Just make a start. In fact, you don't even have to make a start because it's already happened. I hope this helps, guys. Please share this with someone who is struggling to start. Maybe they're struggling to start a new relationship or a new job or an exercise program. I hope that this helps you and I hope that this can help them. Thanks very much, guys. If you want to discuss this further, you can get in touch with me wherever you're watching this or through my email, which is dan@rangeofmotion.net.au. I'll see you next time.